This is a day in the life recording of PSR.
Okay. All right. So this is a demonstration of how automated payment settlement and reconciliation, auto PSR, works. Every night, auto PSR goes and pulls the various payment providers that you have, whether it be an API or, in the case of something like PayPal, an FTP report pull, and it catalogs all of the payment information, and then based on the schedule you set, it will then take that information and compare it to Acumatica and book your deposit and your fees, and then anything that it does not find, it will catalog in the import bank transaction screen. So just give me a moment here. So we have, so here we are, let's see, yeah. Okay, so here we are. It ran for the 20th right now. Marie has me running this in arrears to accommodate processing so that everything gets in. And the reason we're doing that is to accommodate the connector to make sure that we don't get false positives because it took us an extra day or so to actually process our transaction. This to be run as quickly as you want, as quickly as your processing, your upfront processing will work. So when you walk in as an accountant, you'll see that we have, for the 20th, for example, all of these different deposits that have been created. None of these have actually been touched by a human being. So thus far, we can see that Shopify told us that we were going to get these various amounts in our account, these different deposits. And then we also have added a column just to compare what we actually have in our deposit to what they said they were depositing. So, for example, if we just focus in on the 20th, let's try that cell. Excuse me. The deposits are 16 deposits here. We have 1, 2, 3 that did not come through fully. We can see that
Sumerian's not our customer anymore.
Okay, we're still pulling their deposits, so we should probably turn them off then.
Yes. How do we turn them off?
They're off. We don't have an interface for you yet, but there's basically just an active, inactive. So that would just be a button. And I'll discuss the interface that you want with you so that we actually put an interface in that you can control things like rerun this deposit, add another store, things of that nature.
Yeah, we have 3 stores this week.
You have is that 3 new stores this week in addition to the one that came in on Friday? Because I added someone sent one, and so it only takes.
Brent Rivera. Yeah, we're constantly adding and taking off stores. Like every week we're retiring and adding new customers.
Okay. Yeah, it's actually adding a store is basically right now it's a procedure. It just needs a button for you to push on an interface, and it'll make a copy. And it actually prompts for what you want to put in here. Like for example, obviously the system doesn't know it's TMG, and the reason later on we want TMG to have some sort of precedence is because we want to be able to show the project for later on for all of that. So if I walk in and I'm an accountant, this is a small one, but here are the 3 payments that were in the Shopify feed, for example. Here are the different fees. In this case, we just had Shopify fees, and that is what got us from gross to net. Each payment, if I go and open it at any given time, I can see that this payment was deposited on this day and what deposit it's on. So that's a nicety of having it actually process the deposit. So if I'm happy with this deposit, that's it. I take it off hold and I release it. So, but sometimes it doesn't always work out, right? So let's look at what happens when it doesn't work. So I come in here and I've got my, I guess this is another small one, $10,000. But all of our payments have been applied. All of the charges, regardless of whether or not the payment or refund was found, has been adjusted. Now, there's a chargeback fund here which also covers like disputes and things like that. And these are all mappable. So if you decide to change how you do accounting, you can change what your charges are in the system, and you can map however you want. But in this case, as you can see, we expect $9,484.14, right? And we have 951903. That tells me we're probably missing, I'm guessing, a refund or refunds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my bank transactions, and for each deposit, if it does miss anything, it will give me an individual import. So in this case, this was Danny Duncan. It is. Okay, so this is Danny Duncan. And what this is showing me is I have one receipt, one payment, I guess, and 3 refunds or partial refunds missing. So if I just want to do a sanity check before I even get into this, did I hit everything? So my calculated balance is a negative 3469. I'm just going to put that in as a fee temporarily to see, do I add up? I don't even have to pull out my calculator, and I do. So right now, let's undo that. Right now, I'm in a state where I need to know, why do I not have these? So the first thing I might do is just say, okay, where's this transaction? Okay, Acumatica doesn't have that transaction. Does it have any of these? Very easy to check, right? Before I do any processing. Yeah, these aren't here. So what's going on with this? So I'm just going to go ahead and take a look at the transaction. And so I've already logged in with my account to Shopify in this case. And so I can actually pull it up and see, okay, so it's a partial refund of $30. So at some point, $30, yep, so $30 refund was deducted from my February payout. If I look at my payout,
what's that order number, Matt?
The order number is, which order number? Do you want this order number, or do you want?
Yeah, the DD.
Yeah, so we can go here and do that. And we can see that what I have actually is an open.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to check. The CR hasn't been released yet.
So basically, it's just hanging out there right now. So if I'm confident that that's going to be released, you can process it in a couple of ways, right? You can push it through and then attach it to the deposit here once you actually have the payment record because it's been released, or you can make the adjustment here, or you can leave it open until it comes in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But everything's there, and here's a big distinction between running it through everything through the import bank transaction screen and running it through bank deposits. If I make a deposit on the 20th here today, on the 20th of February, I can still process the 21st. I could process to my heart's content going forward without having to stack them up like bricks. With the import bank transaction screen, I'm stuck. I can't move until I am done with this day to move on to the next.
Yeah.
So that's a big distinction. It's a huge distinction. But and this is also customizable. Like obviously the store number, or the store names and things like that, the URLs, all of that are things that we give you control of to set it up once, right? You set it up, and then like some of these are variables that you just work around. But
so let me ask you this. I'm releasing right now the CR, probably there's 3 CRs that weren't released, and we'll see if they do release because they don't always release. How do I get them in that deposit?
Okay. So when I give you the interface there's two ways. But right now, without the interface, you come over here and say Add Payment. Let's go back and find, which one were you releasing, do you know?
I released everything. It'll be
Okay.
a couple minutes till it's done. So
Okay, well, I would come over here. Well, I would come over here, and I would simply put that in. And when it actually comes out on the other end, it'll be here.
Yeah. Give it a second here.
Sure.
So that's the issue, is that not everything comes through, and then we spend all of our time, you figure 100,000 orders. If you've got 100 that don't come through, you spend all these hours troubleshooting those 100 orders.
Well, and that's the thing. This is going to shortcut you to only having to look, like you don't process anything that's standard business. Like in this case, Shane Dawson. And what you were telling me about these guys, this makes a lot of sense. Why are all the payments missing? Well, they're not a customer anymore. Let's turn them off. So that actually makes a ton of sense. And if we look at all of these, I can tell you that historically, you've been working with these massive lists, in some cases, like Jeffree Star, I think Shane Dawson. There are a few that just get huge at times, right? The list is only going to be exceptions now. We're not looking at standard business stuff because it's already here.
Okay.
And all of the charges, regardless of whether or not it's on the payments, are going to be here, so you're only worried about gross. Your net is taken care of.
Okay, so if we want to run the 21st for Danny, can we do that right now? How do we do that?
Run the 21st. Just Danny, or do you want to just run the whole portfolio?
Let's just do Danny.
Okay.
So is there like a screen? How do we run it?
It just runs automatically. That's why I was saying I'm going to give you a screen that you can run whatever you want. Right now it's just running on a schedule. But yeah, we can.
So how do we change
right
the schedule?
Right now it was just Marie told me to run it 2 days in arrears. In the future, if you want to go with this, we'll just give you a screen in Acumatica and have our services wake up and just read your settings from your instance. So I'm not going to make it overly complicated for you, but I do want to spec it out a little bit with you, if that makes sense. So we're just going to run Danny Duncan. Is that it?
Yeah, I wanted to see. So if we don't even have that, you don't even need to show me. That's fine. I just wanted to see kind of what the process is from the end. I'm always thinking about what's the end user experiencing, right?
Oh, sure. For the most part, except for the settings, the user's experience is restricted to just having to work with the Acumatica side.
Yeah.
But we can give you ways to control the settings without a problem. Okay. So I'm gonna, I guess, just run it. Just Danny Duncan. Okay.
So can you run the 21st, Matt?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me get out of here. So yeah, it's running now. I'm only running Danny Duncan though, not the whole portfolio. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I have it filtered, don't I? Is it filtered clear? Okay. All right. Yep, so it's running now. It's running on the server, so it's all running out of a ASC cloud-based box.
So Matt, while we're waiting, you've run this to 100,000 orders. Is that correct? Just speak to volumetrics for a moment.
Yeah. Let me pull one up. Marie was working on it, so I think she started deleting my deposits. But yeah. Oh shoot. Hold on. Let me get back in. Yeah. Let's see. Admin. Right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and it did a split. What was it? Is there more delete? Oh no, okay, so it's not all deleted. Some of them are still here. Yay. it actually broke this. I think this was about 100,000 payments. This guy, it broke it. Maybe it was 90,000. It broke it down by like 5,000 payment per deposit increments. So this deposit is one of 18 deposits, and that's mainly because Acumatica, from a performance perspective, when you're pushing the payments in, can get slower and slower. So we try to keep it from choking Acumatica. It's really, it does all of our side of the work in minutes, and then takes a while to push the payments up. But let's see, can I refresh this? What I can show you is, hopefully, well, let's see if they're deleted or not. Let's go back, okay. There we go. Okay, so here's our import bank transactions for, what day was that? Maybe this one. So in this case, that can't be the right one. They deleted it. No, maybe it is. Oh, this is a good one. All right, so it's deposit 30292. Again, some of these things have been deleted by users because they were catching it up. 30292. Yeah, it's gone. So some of these things have been deleted, Jenny. Right. But yeah, this deposit, this 90,000 payments probably ran most of the night. But when you walked in the morning, the only thing in import bank transactions was the missing one. So let's see what was missing on the 5th. Oh, good. And you can tell, it's very clear when you look at the import bank transaction screen which ones this is constructing, because it tells you the deposit it's associated with. It gives you the actual order links, etc. So you get all of this information from the product. But yeah, that speaks to the volumetrics. We're waiting on deposit. Sorry, Danny Duncan. Okay, so Danny Duncan, this is probably done. Yeah, this is probably done. So 221, Danny Duncan. Sorry for the jumping around. Okay, so you asked me to do Danny Duncan, so we'll open this up. Here's our Danny Duncan deposit. Let's see. So we're 10,000. We had some disputes, we had fees, and this covers disputes going both ways. So when they dispute it, they take it out. If you win it, they put it back. This is how Marie instructed me to put them in, but they could be separated as well. You could go, I want to know all of my... And how do we decide
what account that goes to?
This was set up by this was set up by
Marie or Debbie.
Yeah, so this is entry type.
Yeah.
This is the entry type.
So it's using the rules of the screen.
So the only thing I do in the product is let you map some condition to one of these, and then you're fully controlling how the accounting is working in the background. So what that means to you is really you're pointing it in the right direction. And then letting Acumatica do the accounting, right? So really, it's just a very complex set of funnels that you have control over, and then once it's in Acumatica, that's where we get into things like this. So what we have now is Danny Duncan. Okay, so Danny Duncan, we're missing apparently a disbursement. We're missing this guy. I'm just going to check what happened here. Let's see what's going on with this guy. Paste that right in. And here we are with a Shopify order, partial refund. So we refunded a partial, and it came through. But if we look in Acumatica, This guy. If we look at Acumatica, let's look here. Nothing on the
What's that
original.
order number up? Yeah.
So we have a sales order with a partial refund right here. But you can see I can immediately get to what's in Acumatica, what's in my store. You can't really make it much quicker without us introducing a customization to put a link or a URL.
Yeah, no, the stupid connector doesn't import stuff, and so this is the time-consuming piece. Will always be the piece until we get rid of the connector.
But I think, Jenny, one of the things that you found with Jeffree Star especially was that you have to run Acumatica, and especially on big days, sometimes for hours to get to your work list. And so this has always been designed to take the burden off of Acumatica with the simple answers and just get them in here, and then leave me with just what are my exceptions. I really just need to know when I walk in, what does my workload look like? And so right off the bat, I walk in and I can see, okay, when I walked in for the 21st, let's say, I can see, okay, I processed the 20th deposits. Here's my list of activities. This is all I need to do, right?
Yeah.
So by standardizing it as well, what I want to point out is, like in your case, typically we just do this, what I've highlighted. But in your case, you had a special need, and we'll get into that in a moment, but you probably recognize this as one of the project codes. Well, if we just introduce that, now I can use this in a generic inquiry and tie that to a business event and potentially just book my project-specific fees, right into the GL without any human intervention besides review and release, right? And I wanted to talk to you about that after this. In the overall schema, do you like how this is working so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big question is, what is Acumatica bringing to the table with their new solution? So supposedly they have a fully integrated e-commerce solution, and this would be a piece of it. So if this is a piece of what they're including, then we need to just figure that part out.
Okay. When are they releasing that?
I don't know. We're meeting on Thursday. They're coming out to talk through everything. So I don't know that's the big question that I have. Because it's down to, do we even abandon Acumatica is where we're at right now. We don't know.
Gotcha. Okay. So overall, what I wanted to show you, do you have any questions on obviously you've done enough deposits and import bank transactions, you probably don't have a lot more questions on that, right?
No, that makes sense.
Okay. So what I was envisioning when I looked at this, I took a quick look at your fees, and what I came up with, and the reason I made that change to the description was, it really isn't that hard to create a generic inquiry as the input for a scenario. So in this case, right now,
it's fine for now. We can just have, it's one entry a month that somebody's got to book, so it's not a big deal at all. The amount of time that it takes is 5 minutes. So depending on the cost of doing it, it's probably not worth automating it,
Okay. Well, in this case, it would be your own. It would just be a generic inquiry and a business event. It's not really anything on my side. I was just setting it up so that you could accommodate whatever you wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not like specializing it. I'm really just facilitating Acumatica's innate ability to do so by giving you enough data in the deposit. That's all.
Yeah, because what we'll do is we need to compare against the number in Shopify and double check that total matches, because obviously the numbers have to be in sync or they don't make sense.
Well, like in this case, the number always matches. I can tell you that the source of this value right here is the header from the Shopify API.
Awesome.
These aren't calculated. This is literally coming from. If we go and take a look at any one of these, for example, the Danny Duncan. Well, let's do the Shane Dawson one because it's a big one. So if I look at this one, the Shane Dawson one, right here. Big one, big one. All right. So now, what was that? Probably. Okay. So here's Shane Dawson, right? So I'm just gonna drill over to let's actually get the full because I need the whole store. Right. So if I come over here and I give that, so we'll come over here and. So none of these values are being calculated. They're being pulled directly from the settlement files. So in this case, if I look at the fact that this was pulled, and yes, it was a disbursement. We've been through that, but I'm going to go and look at my disbursement. So now what I'm going to show you is this disbursement is $575,135.32, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my bank deposit. Over here, and we'll side by side them. So
Awesome.
we can go back and forth a little bit. I'm going to put them right next to one another. And here we go. Let's see. How did I end up with alpha?
No, it's fine. I can see it's the same number. That's awesome.
Oh, here it is. I'm just a little silly. Okay, so what I have is the exact same number, and then if I look down here in my charges total. Oh, that's an awful thing. What's it doing here? There we go. My charges total is a combination of my let's see, my fees, my adjustments. Back into this 15,994. And the 144, all of these match. So when you sum it up and you put the missing, I don't know how much was missing here. Let's go back and look. If you put the missing, let's check. Sorry, that's wrong company. If you put that back in, right. That's right. Okay. Sorry, I apologize. I'm wasting time trying to literally show you side by side. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So if I come back to my import bank transaction screen and I take this 341 and I just accommodate that temporarily to show you the net of that, I'm at 575, 135.32. 575, 135.32. 575, 135.32. So everything is literally taking every single one of these records and it's booking adjustments to, I think Marie had adjustments mapping to the fees. If there were any disputes in here, they would show up in this CBF account. So that is how we come to this always equaling this, because this header is what it's read to put here.
That's
yeah.
Cool.
So it's always 100%, and that's what we're doing with all files that we get, all API and files. We get to what they say they're going to put in the bank, because if it doesn't match what's going in the bank, then what are we doing here?